Hello, Landria Onkka here. How do we navigate these troubling times? Because we're in for more, but I want you to know they don't have to be troubling times. So I want to just explain to you your purpose here, what's going on out there, and no matter what happens from this day forward, how you can see completely different in a way that can bring you peace and actually great joy. Are you ready to go there? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka, your Zen powerhouse, here to help you break through your fears and live an amazing life. If you've been on my other channel, you know that I have spent years giving you messages of great, not just hope, but empowerment. So we're in very troubling times. What makes them troubling? Change. Change, because if you saw the world right now the way I do, you would realize that the changes happening are the systems that don't work for us, the things that have abused our planet, one another, our bodies. I want you to think about this. We're allowed to put chemicals on our lawns, in our homes. We're allowed to have them in our foods and eat them, artificial things. That should never be allowed. We just do things based on the ego, which is about me getting what I want with disregard for everything else. That's changing, and that's a good thing. But we're in that system of, let's just say, abuses and lower density. How do we get out of that? Well, there's nothing actually to get out of. You've probably heard me talk about the Matrix. It's just a program because you and I are light beings. We are so way beyond any material world or playing out anything in any density. We're here to experience some great challenges and teachings. We chose to come here at this time period because it is a major shift on the planet. And it's an exciting one. However, if we become very entrenched and attached to the physical body in this experience, we lose sight of the fact that it is simply a play that is taking us to an adventure and, of course, great learning, great contrast of what we truly are. So we cannot know our light until we know what darkness is, right? So if you always saw, if you were a fish in the ocean and everything was blue and somebody told you what red was, you'd have no idea. But then once you knew red, you'd say, oh, okay, no, I love blue. Blue is peaceful. I don't want to swim in red. And that's how this works. So what we're experiencing now is the dissolving of all the things that have been created in a dense world based on the ego and me and what I want, with that disregard to the other. We're realizing that the other is just part of the one energy experiencing all of these different adventures. So if we look at what's going on out there and we say, okay, I've been entrenched in this, but has it really served me well? And the answer would be, yeah, of course it has. It's served you in teachings, but not if you aren't using those to evolve, to go to that next level, to raise your frequency and say, okay, I've learned something from this. But we usually struggle and fight with it. When you have acceptance, you end struggle, and you understand that those things that happen to you personally are designed for you because that's what you need at the moment in order to progress to the next level. So if you're in some situation, financially, relationships, jobs, whatever it is, that is the part of your life that you must work on. And so you have to see it differently. So in other words, instead of seeing the nasty boss, you see that teacher who's showing you patience, compassion, and not to go into the ego and go into the defensive, but to step back and say, how can I handle this situation? Because this is my test. Because if you went through life and everything was la rosy, there would be no test. So we're all being tested right now because there's a lot of egos out there that want their way, my rights and what I want. Don't let that be you, because your rights are yours, but they don't have to be imposed on everybody, and we don't have to get up on our soapbox. What we want to do is create solutions. That is the key to the entire awakening of the planet. So when we go through what's going to happen is we've got a lot more to come. How do we handle that? We have to ask ourselves, if we have been living in and created a dense world, in order for us to go into a new earth, we have to let all that go. Because it has created corruption and greed and separation and all kinds of things that have not served us as one unified community. And I'm not talking about going into some social kind of existence. I'm talking about the equality and the celebration of our diversity and being a community that at one point always took care of the other. And so there should never be starvation, illness, loneliness, all these things that exist right now. If we were there for one another, it could end immediately. But you have to participate in that. So most of us are sitting here worried about me, what's going to happen to me, and my money, and my job, and my marriage, or whatever your relationships. So when we step back and say, okay, this planet and what I'm experiencing isn't about me. It's about that experience of knowing what it's like to be sad, to experience fear, loss. These are human experiences we don't get to experience when we're outside of our dense bodies. That's why when your loved ones go over, they don't experience all these feelings. They carry their energy field over with them, and they don't become like little angel cherubs just because they passed on. So you want to get your energy frequency right, because you do carry that over there. You don't immediately go into, a state of just total enlightenment. You still have lessons, even though nobody actually goes to any nasty place. We do go to this euphoric place. And then we understand what this was all about. But let's do that here and now. So when you go into a situation, I want you to look at it. If you choose to go in a state of peace and say, there's nothing to fear here, because I'm indestructible. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, so I am forever, and anything that happens to me here is ultimately a flash in the pan, because I'm going to be this amazing oneness of total clarity and love and peace. But right now, I get to experience this. So what is this? What is that? How can I be of service? How can I see this differently? Can I be compassionate? Can I see the systems dissolving and say, okay, that has to go away. But how can I be a part of the new earth, the solutions that replace these old systems, that are inclusive, that make sure that we don't struggle or suffer again, that make sure we don't separate one another, make sure we don't tolerate bad behavior and abuses to our planet, our animals, our own bodies. But again, I guarantee you, if you looked through your closets or under your kitchen sink, you'd find major abuses. So you have to start making your own decisions. You will go into a state of awakening as soon as you become conscious of every thought. Is that thought, would I be proud of that? If I was to be exposed of all my thoughts and everybody in the room knew them, how would you feel about that? Would you feel proud? Are they good ones? Are they loving ones? Compassionate? Do you have empathy? Or are you criticizing and judging? Are you going into fear? And the universe does know everything. Everybody actually does know all your thoughts. Maybe not in this human form, but they are all going to be known. So we have to be conscious of them at every moment. So your focus should be, in order to go to that new earth, your focus should be my every thought, my every action, and am I serving the collective, or am I battling what shouldn't be instead of creating what can be and what will be? Because you can create that reality in your life. And not everybody's going to participate in it. Everybody gets a choice. And some of us will be in specific dimensions and realities together, and others will go into other ones. And they're going to see this world as a destructive, evil place that's being destroyed. And that's not what's going on at all, because there's all probabilities. So you get to choose that world. And you can say, look out there and say, this is an amazing, beautiful planet. We were gifted this. Are we respecting it? It has to start with me today. And that's the only thing I should concern myself with is how am I conducting myself? What am I doing to contribute? And are my complaints or my worries or fears, are they contributing in a positive way? If the answer is no, then you have to make higher choices. And so it doesn't take a lot to contribute. It starts with when you wake up in the morning and you bless the planet and you're thankful. And you say, how can I serve? Guide me to be my absolute best here. And amazing things will come to you. Abundance. Now, if you've joined my Miracle Circle membership, it's less than $30 a month. And I help you to go into that state of peace. And then we have a live Miracle Circle where we pull, we have multiple people in these circles live, and then you get recordings every month. You get both of those. But we get together and we use our power for positive change, for healing. But we see everything is perfect because that exists right now. This planet with no pollution, no pain exists right now. But we have to see it to participate in it. Does that make sense? And so that means I'm going to live in a world where my journey takes us there, where we have solutions to clean up our waters, where I'm not doing anything to continue to pollute them, where I'm making better decisions and finding out ways that I can make somebody else's life better. And it could be just you putting yourself out there just a little bit to help another person. To take your neighbor to the doctors, or read to an elderly person, or go for a walk with someone who's new to the area, or bake a cake for your neighbor. I'm talking about community, and it's that simple. And when you look at what's going on out there without the fear and say, this must happen, and I'm here for this massive, amazing transformation into a golden era, because we're not accepting that. We're saying no. No, we're not accepting corruption and lies. And we're not going to sit and blame it and focus on it. We're going to go over here and say, you don't have that power. I do. I'm not going to purchase anything that's toxic. I'm not going to eat foods that have chemicals in them that are bad for me. And we literally change the planet because all of those suppliers will have no audience, no consumers. So then we become the creators of the healthier planet. People that are in my internet training, when we have the supply chain that starts to, not be able to keep up with anything, guess what? There's always a supply chain. And it's going to be in smaller communities. Now, that's not a bad thing. All right. Fasten your seatbelt, because change is uncomfortable, but there are other ways you can flourish. There are opportunities. But if you go into fear, you're going to fuel the very thing that's going on. And it's going to continue to be a problem for you. You never have to go into fear. Step back and say, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, I'm going to leave here at some point, right? And that's a beautiful thing. But right now, when I go into euphoria, there's no situation that can take me into that fearful place again, of which I don't want to put into the collective. So you have a responsibility. But understand, this is a beautiful era. You're getting to witness the biggest change on a planet in the universe. This is the biggest thing happening in our entire universe. And we're being cheered on. Be part of the massive positive change. Go into the acceptance and the positive change. Not acceptance of what's going on and I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. But now becoming the positive change and the movement toward what we do desire that is good for everything, everyone, everything on this planet. So you need not fear anything, my friend. You are here for an amazing reason. And I think it's not a coincidence you're watching this video right now. Come on over to Manifest Anything. It's a free video series. I'm just launching a brand new series that's going to really be much more in-depth with my teachings. Come over to landriaonkka.com. As of this video, Total Clarity, my new course, is out. And if you're in my Manifest Anything series, you'll get a discount on that course. It's going to help you to tap into your power. What is it? How do I use it? Because you have it right now. You're using it at every moment. It starts with that thought. Nothing to fear, my friend. Congratulations on being here. Let's go into an amazing new earth together. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Please subscribe and please share my videos and spread the good word that all things are possible. Blessings to you. Namaste.